Hello, everybody. Welcome back into the LFC Transfer Room. I'm Jack, delighted to be alongside Anthony and Drew here today. The only thing I'm delighted about is being alongside them, though. Not delighted that we have to talk about Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Ton of optimism, ton of excitement heading into this match. It was a European night at Anfield, always a special time. Liverpool got to a 2-goal lead, promptly concede 5 goals on the bounce. Anthony, I'm going to toss over to you first, my friend. I said it to Drew when he joined the stream off camera. Like, how are you doing excluding the match? And then kind of just how are you doing with the match yourself?
Excluding the match. I think like when it's a big fixture, yeah, you're always a bit hyped beforehand anyway, like a few hours before. So that's what you're looking forward to. So I was in a good mood. I thought maybe we got a chance of winning, and I guess I was proven wrong after what was it 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So yeah, not doing too good at the moment.
Drew, yourself as well. How are you?
Aside from the result, doing okay. But yeah, that result was quite the gut punch. So, how about yourself, Jack?
I pretty good. Like even including the result, like I was going into this with pretty low expectations. I didn't, expect us to. I didn't expect us to lose 5-2. I mean, you can't really expect that at Anfield, even after how poor the season's been in parts. You can't really expect that to happen. I think my overwhelming just thought is just like, how is it 5? It feels so similar to the Aston Villa match, 7-2, where it's like that there wasn't 7 goals that we should have conceded in that match. We shouldn't have conceded 5 today. But I guess it's is 5-2 a fair reflection, Anthony? Like, obviously, I think Liverpool deserved to lose in the day. I don't think anybody can dispute that. Madrid were clinical. They were focused. Mentally, they were on top of it.
Yeah.
Bit harsh, 5-2.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think it was. I thought we deserved to get better today. The first half, we looked good for 10 minutes or 15 minutes whenever we scored the 2 goals, obviously. But even after that, even during those 15 minutes, I thought it's just a bit slow. We weren't really like the Liverpool that we normally see in the Champions League, even with the atmosphere, and we were still conceding the odd sloppy chance. And obviously, Vinicius scored that good goal, and they just took off after that. And the only difference was the second half. Real Madrid turned it up, and we carried on playing. Well, we didn't carry on playing as well as we did in the first 15 minutes. But we were really poor, and I think the second half cost us. And Madrid just battered us. We saw the difference in quality between a top European team and what we currently are at the moment.
And if you're in the chat, I always say this after defeats. We're going on over 2 years that we've had the YouTube page, looking to kind of get back more consistent with the streams and videos in the coming weeks. But 2 years ago when we founded the channel, Anthony, you were around at this time. It was founded with a lot of defeats in that 2021 time. So a lot of these streams turned into kind of, therapy sessions. So drop them in the comments, get your anger out so you don't have to drag that home with you later today. And hey, if you're saying apologies for language with just saying "goddamn," I think I respect you a lot for being able to limit yourself to that. Drew, I'll pose the same question to you that I posed to Anthony. 5-2, fair result. I don't think it's, again, defeat. Cool. 5-2.
Yeah, I think that was completely fair. I think the word that Anthony used that rang completely true for me was the sloppiness. Like I was very excited with how we started the game. We took advantage of a Courtois mistake, and then it was just sloppy. The game management was one of the worst I've ever seen. Like flip how Real Madrid handled their lead. From 1 goal up to 2 goals up. Like how they handled their lead is like the more time went on, the more they took control of the game, spread us thin, and absolutely capitalized on the mistakes. Versus us, when we went 2-0 up, you'd think 2-0 at Real Madrid, you kind of like pump the brakes a bit and maybe, I'm looking for leaders out on the pitch to really grab that game and manage it, wherever they were. I didn't see anyone. But like that for me was the really disappointing thing. Like the lack of game management, the lack of leadership. So that and then the sloppiness was just we got deservedly punished for how sloppy we were. So it was fair for me.
I'm going to make my very, very short counter argument. The XG philosophy just tweeted out the XG from the match. It was Liverpool 2.09, Real Madrid 1.66. We beat them on XG.
Send us through, man.
Exactly.
No,
Send us through.
Jack, you know what Drew just touched on. There was no leaders on the pitch. What were we told in the debate room? Henderson, biggest leader. It's abysmal, man. Honestly, the way people and commentators as well, yeah, they back up these like. I'm not trying to play a race card or anything, but like European players as well. And then it's like, I don't know, man. Honestly, there's no leadership. Just because Henderson's like British and etc. does not mean he's a leader. Same with Milner. They're running around like idiots half the time, aren't they? Like, and just they can't defend, man. I swear, I think was it Henderson, Fabinho, and Bajetics all gave the ball away, leading to 3 goals today. Fabinho's was the worst one. There were 3 Madrid players, like, and we only had 2 people defending. Like, I don't know what was going on in the midfield. The defense, Joel Gomez. Mate, I've defended that guy for so long, but there's only so much you can say about him now. He has got to go. He's got to go. Fabinho's got to go. That whole midfield, there's at least, how many midfielders? We've got 9. About 6 of them, they're not good enough to play in this team anymore, or even be part of the squad, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, Henderson, Milner, it's always it brings up weird, political race. Like when you talk about, is Henderson bad? And it's like, no, he's a great leader. And he wasn't good today. But I don't think, like, I want to say Gomez was poor. He was poor in spells, but this match, I think, just rang true with the rest of the season. Like inconsistent, woefully inconsistent, mentally all over the place. And I forget if it was Anthony, you were Drew, who mentioned just the game management was just completely. I mean, you make a great point, both of you, in terms of just when we were up by 2 goals. We all, like, I was sitting there like, oh, this is cool. We got a Nunez goal. We had a mistake from Courtois. Like, this is cool. This is a nice moment. But we're like, when's the other shoe going to drop? And the other shoe dropped with a brilliant goal from Vinicius Jr. And then just a howler from Alisson, who I'm not going to sit here and blame him because he's kept us alive in every match this season pretty much. And it was always going to be a case that we were going to be exposed like this if we kept it at that current rate. I don't know. Like, it's always weird with these results. Is there any chance in the second leg? Anthony, I'll toss it to you first. Down 3 away goals is good thing it's not a thing anymore, or else we'd have to score 4 at least without a response. Any chance second leg?
I'm so optimistic, Jack, but there's no chance, man. There's no chance. And the thing is, this wasn't even Real Madrid's best team. They've got too many. I was shit myself for too many. Honestly, I think he's probably the best midfielder in the world, to be honest, for the past year. Or maybe definitely top 3 at least. And he's going to destroy our midfield. We couldn't even get past fucking Camavinga, let alone Tchouaméni, Toni Kroos are going to be fully fit. Yeah, obviously, I believe. I'm not going to say 100% we've got no chance, like anything can happen. But looking from a realistic point of view, I can't see it happening. But if we get Thiago back in time, if we get Konate back in time, those first 15 minutes, yeah, we had even after those 15 minutes, we were creating chances, just couldn't finish them off. I was surprised it's 2-2 going into halftime. Sorry, but there's so many chances for us to score. So if we carry on that first 15 minutes throughout the 90 minutes, which we've not seen all season except for Bournemouth who beat 9-0, then who knows? But I can't imagine we're going to beat Real Madrid 4-0 or by 4 goals at the Bernabeu.
Yeah, no, it's a tough thing to see there. On Gomez, we've got kind of some Matthias, never rated Gomez, better defendant at the local park. He was poor today. Was it credited as an own goal, the one that went off Benzema, or are they giving Benzema that one? I wasn't sure what that one was. If anyone knows.
They gave it to Benzema in the game, but there might be a review later.
Yeah, tough to blame that one on him. He was a little sloppy on a few of those, but sloppy. And I also agree with this comment from BHM. Like, it's hard to look at individual players. Like, this is my thing with Bajcetic, who I actually, to my discredit, was not a fan of him coming into the team when he was first coming in. I was like, keep the young guys away. Don't want them to be in this bad situation. He's hit the ground perfectly. But so it's hard to kind of pinpoint individual performances when the structure as a whole kind of just collapses on itself. But Gomez didn't do a good enough job of making sure that the structure wasn't there. So Drew, I'll toss it to you kind of just with the second leg. Is there anything from this match that we can carry on, I guess, in terms of seeing a potential to get through? Or are we kind of just holding out hope for another Nunez goal so we can say 2 knockout goals from the big man?
I think that's pretty much the positives is we're scoring goals again. I think that was such a huge, like, terrible streak for us in the Premier League was we weren't able to score goals and we were sloppy at the back, so there was just no chance of winning. I feel like the past 2 games we've kept clean sheets, but probably lucky to do so against Newcastle and Everton, maybe a little less so. But the fact that we're scoring again is, brings some optimism there, and maybe that will, hopefully that carries over into the league and we can get Nunez just firing regularly, get his confidence up because he should be building confidence from his last 3 games. But that's pretty much it for me. Just how bad we were, midfield and defense. Yeah, I wouldn't throw any like Bajcetic had a couple of poor decisions when he tried to take a split 2 defenders with his turn that ultimately led to the goal and a couple of bad passes. But he's what is he 17, 18 years old. I said this when like Elliott's in the team. You don't put the shoulders of your midfield on someone that young and not put any responsibility on the 2 veterans in the team alongside him. And that for me was the biggest disappointment in the second half. It just looked like our energy was all gone. It was like the legs were gone. And then I think Ancelotti said this after the Champions League final was that he thought like Liverpool was the easiest tie that Madrid came up against. He's like, I know exactly how they play. I know how to beat them. And it's pretty much what you said with the expected goals. I wanted to address that is it doesn't matter if you shoot yourself in the foot. Like that's what we did this game. We shot ourselves in the foot multiple times. And it seems like Ancelotti has played that way against us throughout his career. I'm curious, like he was Everton manager and he's the only manager of Everton to beat us in like the last, 20 games or something like that. Beat us with Napoli when Napoli weren't the powerhouse they are in the Champions League right now or in the Italian league. And Ancelotti just seems to have Klopp's numbers, seems to let us shoot ourselves in the foot. And that's why I don't see any chance against Madrid. And like Anthony, I'm a super positive person and always going to back the team and everything. But there is absolutely no way Ancelotti gets it that wrong to where he lets us score, 3-4 goals now?
I think you got to go with Matthias, Drew. If it happens, will you dye your beard pink too?
Yeah. I'll shave my head, whatever you guys want to do. I'll throw that in there. Just put a Twitter poll or something.
It's a long shot. Let's give you some stats to just kind of underscore our depression. Liverpool conceded 5 goals in a European game at Anfield for the first time ever. First time. History being made. Just the 3rd time this century they've allowed 5+ in a home game, doing so in January 2007, 6-3 defeat to Arsenal, and October 2019, 5-5 draw with Arsenal. So Madrid, the first non-Arsenal team to put 5 past Liverpool at Anfield. It's a tough one. Just that second half was just weird. I was sitting there watching it, and it was just a sense of inevitability about the goals they were scoring. Like it was just so poor mentally. And it was such a disappointment after how positive we started the match. And I'm not sure what differences need to be made. To talk about the subs at the very end, Anthony, I'll kind of pose it to you. Talking about Nunez, Gakpo coming off. I thought Gakpo looked really good in those first 20, 30 minutes. Like he's, I think, going to be a good false 9. I think he's going to really kind of finding this niche in the squad. And Nunez looked really, really, really good when he's playing off on the left. Any backing for this for you, Anthony? Should we have kind of kept them out a bit longer, or was almost rest after suffering the heavy defeat the better call for Klopp?
I was literally going to say the same thing. As soon as you brought that comment up, I just don't know why he took off Gakpo. Nunez did more defending than the midfield all match, and Gakpo looked really good going forward. Like they couldn't really touch him, and he was getting in the good spaces and sort of trying his best to set up the other 2 forwards as well. But I just don't understand the logic of his substitutions all season. Jack, how many times have I banged on about his subs, man? Why are you bringing on Milner? He's 37 now. He is not. He's not at the level to be playing in the Champions League, man. Jack, why is he not putting on Keita? I had to bring it up.
Was Keita in the? Don't tell me he's on the bench. Oh, he's on the bench. I didn't realize.
How you watch? Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
I didn't even realize Keita was on the bench. I didn't even have that to be mad about. I thought he was just hurt.
How have you watched that same midfield all season? Watch it lose with 9th in the Premier League and thought, you know what? They'll do a job against Real Madrid. honestly, Klopp something needs to happen, because I just don't understand why he's making those same substitutions every single match, taking off our best players on the pitch. The only good thing about that starting 11 was the front three, and I do think Gomez was all right in the first half, and same with Van Dijk, to be fair. But just the second half, I just don't understand the logic of the subs. What were they going to provide that the forwards weren't already doing, like Firmino and Jota? Because the problem was clearly the midfield and defence. So we had to risk it and put 4 forwards on, and I don't know, and hope that we score a couple more. And we ended up conceding, what was it, two more goals anyway. So I don't know. Klopp got substitutions really wrong, and I don't know why he brought on Elliott with 5 minutes ago. Maybe a bit game time, but he had a shambles this match.
The subs were. It's been tough from Klopp. He's never been his strong suit, but especially now that we've been struggling and in need of impetus, both with the intensity and technical skill, he's just never quite gotten it right. I am sympathetic that the options aren't perfect. Like Keita, he's a better choice than Milner, but he's not a perfect choice. But there's not perfection. I think it could have been a bit better managed by Klopp. We've kind of, and also I wanted to bring up Maddie's comment. I mean, Maddie, you will never. Are you trying to get into a positivity contest with Maddie? You will lose every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And that's the crazy part is I'm sitting here and I'm like, what if they did? Like, what if it was 4-0? Not gonna happen. I mean, I have to like keep myself realistic, so I'm not like devastated when it doesn't happen. Win the second leg is my goal. Win the second leg. Because you push on too much of a hole. Gomez, I don't think this was Gomez's worst performance. I want to make that very clear. Like I agree with you, Anthony. Pretty good in the first half. He actually had some good moments, some good bursts of speed to deal with Vinicius, but I don't know. It was disappointing, and it underscores how much needs to be replaced in the summer. Like
he's injured as well. He picked up an injury.
Gomez did.
That's why he got took off. Yeah,
that's tough. That's a tough break because. It's a tough break. It's been the reason why he's not been the player that he could have been was the injuries. Trent, I thought was brilliant today, as he's been the last couple of matches. Like some of his passes, like there was that one where it was kind of squirmed loose, and then he just whipped it across the front three, and it spun right into Nunez's path. Like it was almost teasing Carvajal to try and run a bit faster for it, and then it went right into Nunez's path in the break. He's been, I think, really developing a connection with Nunez, which has been impressive to see. But Trent positive. Nunez, great to see him with the confidence for that flick. Drew, any other positives, I guess, for you on this match that you were like slight things that you can glean from this?
I'd take Trent back one knock off. I think he fell asleep for Militao coming across. But other than that, his passing was excellent. Adventurous on the wing. I thought we handled the counter well to an extent until the capitulation. But for me, that just goes to, it kind of reminds me of like Arteta, like how he came in with the Arsenal team, but like didn't play the way he wanted to play because he didn't have the personnel. Like he played like more conservative, won the FA Cup with that, and then started building his team back to how he wanted, getting the players in to play the way he wanted to play, and evidence this season, as much as I hate Arsenal, but credit to Arteta there. I feel like Klopp is not adjusting the way he plays. That's not to say Klopp's system doesn't work. I think the first 10, 15 minutes are evidence of that. Yeah. But when the legs go, it's the midfield can't handle it, and that leaves us so exposed and stretched. So I mean, I guess the biggest positive is the fact that we did have 10-15 minutes where we absolutely dominated Madrid, and that shouldn't be taken lightly. It's just the game management, the leadership on the pitch, and maybe the substitutions from Klopp, maybe the stubbornness to not be like, hey, we have a 2-0 lead. Let's switch things up a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the first few moments were fantastic. The atmosphere was pretty strong, actually. I hope that this, it's a tough defeat, obviously. I hope it doesn't knock them back from the back-to-back wins at the Prem, because like part of me really entering today was like, all right, it's Champions League or bust. Like it's a fresh slate. Don't have to worry about the fact that over 22 matches in the Prem, we've let ourselves down. We've still got, we got a fresh slate. It's 0-0. So it's a bit disappointing in that. It's disappointing, really disappointing in that sense. But Palace on the weekend, you hope that they can kind of recover for that. We've seen a few comments kind of just with the FSG out, especially with the new news that's been happening the last few days. John Henry saying that a full sale is looking like they're not looking for it anymore, looking for a minority sale. We'll have a stream on that tomorrow, I believe. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Notifications on. You can follow LFC Transfer Room on all our social medias for all the latest news and happenings, because that's a much bigger theme than just Liverpool versus Madrid this day. Is this the future of the club? How much money is going to be available? With the news of Qatar potentially purchasing Manchester United, not looking good in terms of the endless bank account for Jurgen Klopp to reassess the team. But I guess, Anthony, for you, kind of for those people who are kind of saying FSG out, kind of changing things up, what, I guess, for you looking forward into the summer, does this result show to you that needs to happen, changes wise in the squad? Does it change anything in your mind? What are, I guess, the biggest priorities based on this defeat?
What for the summer? Did you say?
Yeah.
I mean, it's always going to be a midfield issue. We should have addressed it 2 years ago, to be honest, when Wijnaldum left, or even maybe before Wijnaldum left. To be honest, you would have, like we did with Luis Diaz. You thought you've already got a replacement there, and give him time to fit in rather than just like throw him straight into the deep end. But it's got to be a midfield, and it's not just like 1-2 midfielders. I think it's got to be about 3 or 4 now, or maybe even 5, depending on how many leave. Because we've got Keita, who looks like leaving, Milner. Who else is going? Oxlade as well. And is Curtis Jones still going to be part of the squad? Can't really see that, to be honest. And obviously, you can still give Elliott in that time. But you know what? There's even talk of giving Milner an extension, isn't there? More recently, like where's this coming from? Like you've got to change that whole midfield. And then there's links with Guardiola as well. Hopefully, can bring him in, or maybe another centre back. Because man, how does one club have so many injury-prone centre backs? You know, after a couple of years ago, I thought we were done with that. But Kanata is just as bad as Gomez at the moment, but not in terms of ability. Like he's a world class player, but his injury record's so poor. So we definitely need another centre back. Talk of Tsimikas may be moving on, but a little LFC transfer room exclusive. A journalist has mentioned that. I'm pretty sure he's set to stay, but yeah, I don't think the left back or whatever's the issue. It's just centre back, one centre back, maybe 2 if another leaves like Nat Phillips, but. We've got to sort that midfield out, man. So bad. It's not just Jude Bellingham that's going to be enough. And can we realistically see them signing like 2-3 midfielders off like that much money as well? Like Bellingham's going to cost 130 as it is. So we've really got to put it. The FSG have to invest in summer, but I can't see it. They promised us big summers for the past 3 years, and we've spent about 30-50 million each summer, like net spend. So yeah, I can't see it happening. But hopefully there's 3 or 4 new mids at this club.
Yeah, no, we were all saying that, as things were kind of progressing over the last few summers, man. I mean, I don't think anybody who was seriously like ingrained with the club or follows the club was sitting there saying, we don't need to sign a midfielder, we don't need a midfielder. But now we've kicked the can down the road so much, it's no longer a can. It's like a mountain. I don't even know what it's like. It's just it's exploded. Like It's an insane amount of signings that need to happen. I think Tsimikas, if he went on, would not be a bad move. Sign someone who actually could probably replace Robertson long term. Right back is probably the only spot in the squad, and maybe the forwards, maybe as a unit, is okay. And they got right back and goalkeeper. But you need a center back or 2 because Gomez and Matip probably should go. And then literally the entire midfield 3 today. Well, shouldn't Bajcetic, he's the future. He's the kid. He's that guy. But it's just really hard to imagine the signings that need to happen because Klopp is in love with Jude Bellingham. But I know what's going to happen. If we get Jude Bellingham, it's going to be Liverpool prioritize Jude Bellingham, the perfect guy. Now they have £20 million to spend on 6 other positions. Time for one like English center back from a team that was quite good in the championship last year, and then I don't know, I can't even think of a good cheap option in the midfield.
Oh, we see Mason Mount, aren't we? Oh,
but hey, we should talk about it in a future stream. I actually suggested Mason Mount in the summer as a guy I'd love to see at Liverpool. Hasn't changed. I haven't changed that opinion, actually. I think he would be a signing and a half. But that's a discussion for a later stream. So make sure you subscribe for that, because we're kind of right now with Liverpool almost in like wait and hope it gets better in the summer. But with the owner news, it's really hard to imagine FSG coughing up the money required to get the squad back to where it is. Kind of just wrapping things up on this stream here today. Oh, Maddie, is that on Mount? I think Maddie, we need to get on the stream together to talk about Mason Mount. I think that would be good content, because I imagine that we have differing perceptions of Mason Mount. I guess just to kind of wrap up the stream with the thoughts on the match. I guess Anthony, kind of carrying forward to the next match. Let's just look at Palace. Let's ignore second leg. As much as we may want to believe. So the next match, what needs to be changing in terms of the Palace match? Or was there enough in that initial 15 minutes that if you ran the same 11 back, they might be able to handle Palace on the weekend?
Not to like downplay Crystal Palace, well, I don't think there'll be that much of an issue, given like we won our last 2 matches anyway. But it's just about confidence now, I think, because that team was like, I wouldn't say good enough to beat Real Madrid, but it's good enough to not lose 5-2, for goodness sake. So I don't know, but the signs were there against Newcastle as well. Even when they had 10 men, we looked rubbish, and Newcastle could have easily scored about 3 or 4. So it just depends how they turn up on the day. Like, is it hit and miss now with this team at the moment? We're not even in the Premier League, I think, and it's just must-win matches. But I'll tell you what, I'm not giving up on top 4 yet. Sounds a bit bad, yeah. Early in the season, we say we're going to win the quadruple. now we compete for top 4. So, but yeah, if we win our game in hand, we're on like 3 points behind Newcastle or something like that. So I reckon it's doable, but they've just got to turn up, and hopefully Jota can finally find his scoring boots as well. He's not scored in like 20 matches or something. So when Firmino's back in the team as well, he looked really good first half of the season. Then I'm sure we'll manage to beat Crystal Palace, to be honest.
Yeah,
but only with Naby Keita.
Have we seen Keita and Bajcetic, Anthony? Like, have we seen them play much together? I'm trying to remember.
Against Wolves, I had a good match, but when we lost 3-0,
all right. No, don't ignore the result. Good performance. Drew, I guess for you, Palace, I struggle to look at any top division side in England and say, oh, we should handle them because of how inconsistent we've been. But what I think in terms of maybe changes in the 11, things you might want to see, Gomez with the injury, he might come out for Matip, maybe. Kind of think Konate. Is Konate training? I should know this, but I don't. Drew, for you, for Palace on the weekend, what takeaways do you have for today for that?
I'd say Palace are a team that like to play. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Zaha's either injured. I think he's injured. Or he didn't play this past weekend, but I don't know if that was like a red card accumulation or something, but I know he didn't play this past weekend. But besides that, I know Eze's a good player. They have good players, but they like to play. The Patrick Vieira has them, pretty open. And that could fall into our hands where we're not having to break down, a team stubborn in the box. But as we saw from, our second game of the season, they bodied us pretty well, and that was Nunez red card. So we shouldn't take the game lightly. But I think if Klopp can just, almost how Champions League was a fresh slate, away from the Premier League, it's like, hey, like, let's just take the positives from Real Madrid, which was just the first 15 minutes, and let's try to carry that back in the league. Because like Anthony, you said, I'm not giving up on top 4, because if we do win that game in hand, we are level on points with Newcastle. We'd be a game ahead of them, but that's pretty crazy given where we were a couple weeks away. So it's not going to be easy, but we got to go for it. We got to win.
Exactly. Guys, when we were talking about the quadruple at the beginning of the year, we're talking about quadruple of teams at the top of the table. Come on now. We all knew what we were talking about. We're finishing in the top quadruple of teams in the table. Top 4. We're just calling it a quadruple now.
Well, it's the American translation.
Yes, sir. That's what we'll say there. Well, we have Palace on the weekend, which hopefully is a chance to wipe the slate slightly clean, but not like full clean. It's just like a little spray, a little wipe down a little bit. This is gonna be a tough one to kind of recover from. I think I've more or less said everything I want to say on the match that I can tonight. We'll probably need to sleep it off and then be a bit more impartial, a bit more woefully optimistic after this tomorrow, thinking that we're gonna somehow win every trophy, that even though we're not in any competition except for the Premier League very soon. Still going to have that woefully high optimism. We're going to be doing a stream on the ownership debate with FSG. More videos will be coming in the next couple of weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And definitely check out our other social medias, Instagram, Twitter. I think we have a TikTok as well that you should check out. Content flowing there. The team flowing a little bit less so, but we do our best to try and flow regardless of what the team does. But for Anthony and Drew, I've been Jack. It's been a pleasure to be giving you this post-match reaction after Liverpool's heavy defeat to Real Madrid. A sad one, but a fun stream to kind of cap it off. Have a great rest of your night and take care.